Okay, so I'm going to do a final discussion on this GCSE maths topic, which I triggered quite unintentionally when I showed that little nice book, Algebra for Beginners from 1902. And I didn't realize there was going to be so much discussion. So I did a second video, and in the second video there were many comments, probably from people who do take the GCSE, saying that it was unfair because I did not show a higher level GCSE exam. Although I did point out very clearly that you could just go online and download the past papers and you would see the difference. But there isn't that much difference is what I meant. And the other thing that was also perhaps misunderstood is that I was really merely pointing out the breadth and depth of knowledge being taught to children quite young back 100 years ago compared to now. And it's not a fault-finding exercise against children now, because unfortunately they're being shortchanged, and that's why I homeschool my own children now growing up. But you know, you tell a kid, or you're going to go 12 years at school, you're going to get your certificate, you're going to get a great job, you'll do well in life, and next thing you know, they have no idea. They get to 16, do an exam, and the exam is asking them questions which they should have learned in primary school. So it's totally unfair on the kids. And as far as I'm concerned, they're being quite betrayed, to be honest. Then you have a look at the teachers. If the teachers themselves have come out from that system, they will have no idea that 100 years ago or 150 years ago, the topic, the breadth, the depth was completely different, because they've only seen what there is now. So I did go and buy the higher level mathematics GCSE, sorry, AQ. That was the exam I was showing you. These are revision books, and they're available in all our bookstores in the UK, particularly WH Smith and Waterstone. And you know, it's full of revision books. You don't actually see any textbooks as such, real textbooks like the ones I've been showing you, but they're just revision books. So I'm actually really pleased to have gone and got that, because it totally confirmed what I've been saying in the other videos. And there are some sample paper exams in the back there, so I'll show you. But the first thing that I wanted to say is the topics are the same. So these are the topics, so you can see it. There's 7 topics, and they're the same for both higher tier and foundation tier. There is no calculus on GCSE. For some reason, some people think there is calculus. Calculus is infinitesimal calculus, which is integration and differentiation, and it is not on the GCSE curriculum, not the standard GCSE curriculum. It is in the A levels. So anyway, I'm very glad I went to get this, because I found that something else a bit more disturbing, actually, which is probably behind what's happening. A lot of comments were made about the fact there were no longer any textbooks, which is totally the case, and many comments on the subject of arithmetic. I can never pronounce that word properly. And this is part of the 3 R's: reading, writing and arithmetic, and that is definitely one thing which is a struggle, and which should be absolutely taught 100% with total mastery in primary before the student goes on to anything else in mathematics. Arithmetic is that branch of mathematics dealing with the 4 operations. And what I have found is a lot of the difficulties with the children in secondary school and later is they have not mastered arithmetic. They cannot do a division, subtraction, addition, multiplication by hand and really understand how to do it. And these are the fundamentals. So you can imagine you're trying to do algebra or trigonometry, where you're having to calculate anything, where you're having to do an operation. And if you cannot do one of the 4 operations, or you don't know your times table, or the children don't know the times table, I mean, they're stuck, you know, without a calculator here. So let's go very quickly, because it's already 4 minutes and I'm against the clock. I'll give you an example here. So this is how the book looks. And it's all this sort of very kind of weird writing. Everything is sort of underlined and colorful. I find it actually really hard on the eyes. I certainly wouldn't give that to my children. There's like here how to use a calculator exactly, just so you can get your ratios and your fractions. So not work out in your head, but doing a calculator. There's something else that was very, very strange. You can see here This is conversion. A rabbit's top speed is 56 kilometers per hour. How fast is this in meters square? Sorry, meters square. Meters per second. So it's right here. You can see it there. The language is very sort of talking to a little infant. This is what I find. Everything is sort of underlined. So you can see there's a lot of underlining taking place, sort of stressing things to remember. And at the bottom of the page, it's all exam questions, you know, concentrating on memorizing. And I gave yeah, here's another example here, because I thought that was very, very strange. There's something with the language which just doesn't sort of agree with me. Here you go. So here it says areas, triangles and quadrilaterals. Be warned, there are lots of area formulas coming up on the next 2 pages for you to learn. You should remember the formulas for the area of a rectangle, area equals length by width, and the area of the square, area equals length squared. Now, this is something also done at primary school. You know, this is very, very basic. Here you go. And they're reminding, you know, make sure you remember the formula. And the students are given a formula sheet at the exam. So they don't have to memorize the formulas really, because they are given formula sheets. And you see some of the problems there. So this is a grade 4. This is a 2-mark question on the exam at the bottom here. And it's a plain, just a plain problem about working out the area of a triangle and a rectangle. Then you have very strange things here, and particularly this is really here. It says the 2 topics on this page aren't really related, but you'll need to learn about them both regardless. I mean, that's just not how you teach a subject. Oh, you don't need it really, but yeah, you got to learn it. Then you have similar examples of this, and I was actually quite disturbed because I thought this is wrong. And I suddenly realized this is again back to 1984, back to Newspeak, back to the destruction of literacy, reading and writing, using the language to really sort of reduce the person's intelligence by talking like if they were a child, you know. And here you have an example. It says a scatter graph tells you how closely 2 things are related. The fancy word is correlation. It's not a fancy word, it's just the name. It's just the name of it. Why not teach correctly what is correlation? That would be probably a lot better. And you have another one here. Oh, here you go. And this was really strange. A locus, and it says a locus, another ridiculous math word. So they're teaching math, but making fun of the words and the language. Oh, you don't need to know that word really. And it's here, you can see it. I was really, really surprised, just right here. Another ridiculous math word. So obviously, if you're going to have and here, I noted that, look. This locus is a sausage shape. So basically you can see how the books are. It's making, you know, little of maths. And here are some questions I'm mindful of time. And here are some higher tier questions. And the first higher tier questions again are math and arithmetic, and it's very simple. So this is what's being asked here. You could read it. Find 27.68 times 4.6. And that gives you 3 marks. That's just a normal multiplication. You do that at primary school. I did that at primary school, and I know thousands of people watching this will have done that at primary school. This is back in the 70s. 27.68 times 4.6. That gives you 3 marks. The total marks for the exam is 80 marks. And of course you have a few, you know, what appears to be slightly more complicated, but actually it isn't, because they will have drilled that to an inch of their lives to pass the exam. Here you go. A solid shape has a volume of 2,000 millimeters cubed. What is its volume in centimeter cubed? Here you go. Yeah. Okay, I'm up. Time's up. So that's your higher tier GCSE, and I hope that finishes the discussion.